All right, and our next fixture is the Icelandic Cup. All right, listen, sound the siren, mate.
GAGS assemble!
Syngjum saman til sigurs, hrópum áfram Grindavik. Og ég veit, við fagnum hér í dag.
Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Grindavik on the Impossible Dream. It's Season 10, Episode 3 today, and the GAGs are assembled. It is the Icelandic Cup. We have Reynir, I think it is, in the first leg. They're a third-tier side, or the first tie, I should say. We should be able to beat them, but this is a massive blow for the GAGs. Damien Allmarkson is missing. Now, he has been our sort of advanced playmaker, attacking midfielder pretty much since the GAGs came into existence, and to not have him is going to affect the way we play, to be honest. I'm not sure. We don't really have anybody else to play in his role. So yeah, that is a bit of a disappointing blow, that one. Now we have had some other news which is in a way exciting, but in another way it's going to really affect us. And that is this. We are missing 3 players going to the Euros. Jonsson, Bautenson and Mortensen. Now, like I say, it's exciting to have players, going to the Euros with Iceland, but we're going to be missing them for the duration, like the build-up and then the tournament itself. And also off to a summer tournament is Mosquera to the Copa America with Ecuador. So it does leave a little bit of a 4-man hole in the squad that we could have done without, to be honest. But nonetheless, I like seeing players go away representing their country, so I've got no problem with it on that front. And it should be okay. We should have them back in time for Europe, certainly when Europe is going to start to matter to us. But yeah, that is not ideal. You can see we could have postponed pretty much the entire season, but I decided against doing that. I thought we'd just end up with a massive backlog when we're playing in Europe and probably don't want it. Now, there is one thing that I forgot to do last episode, and that is to confirm our goal of the season from last year. And I think we all know which one it is, but any excuse to see it again. So with 100% of the vote, it is this wonderful goal from Higuain. Oh, that is goal of any season, isn't it? Goal of the series. Now, if we were to win today in the first game, we do have our second, the 4th round tie. That is against Prota V. I think they may have beaten us before in this with the GAGs, so maybe a chance for revenge there. But before we get to any of this, there's one game in the league to catch you up on. That was against Stажnen. Higuain gave us a first half lead, and he then played in Bautenson to double it. And it was Higuain again that provided the final pass for Bakali to make it 3-0. Before Palacios picked out Bautenson to make it 4-0 at half-time. Bautenson completed his hat-trick in style just after the break, before Jofferson got our 6th. So not much to say, really. We absolutely dominated the game. The bad part of this, if you see, it's not behind my head. Palacios got injured. It's sort of same as Allmark's in like 7 or 8 weeks. So not ideal. Again, he should be back ready for when Europe starts. And we do have Iskala and a couple of youngsters who can fill in for us. But yeah, not ideal. But Higuain, Bautenson, too good for this league, aren't they? And Tom Jones started his career as a left back for us in this one as well. So very nicely done. If we look at the league table, and 3 from 3, goal difference of 11, and it's all looking very nice, isn't it? Already a 4-point gap over the rest of the league there. So we've got extra European places, do we? We must do, unless there's no split in the league. Why is that so far down? Anyway, that's brilliant. If we've got extra places, that's more chance of teams to win in Europe. Although equally, it's got to split our points further, isn't it? Because the way the coefficient works, if you don't know, it's the points that all the teams in Europe get in Europe, which is us, divided by the amount of teams in Europe, which is now potentially looking like 6. The league doesn't split, does it? 1 second here. No, league doesn't split, so we must have extra European places, which is nice. But anyway, that hasn't been confirmed yet. We haven't sort of done the end of European campaign thing that happens in the game. So anyway, let's go and turn our attention to cup football with the GAGs. And this is it here. We're expecting a 4-2-3-1 out of them. But as I say, they're a third-tier side. It shouldn't really matter what they're playing, to be honest. So this is the team. Now, if you are new or you don't know what a GAG is, it is basically a Grindavik Academy Graduates. That is what a GAG is. So Rafasin goes in goal. Kolla, Mortensen, Unnesen, and Severtsen are going to be the back 4. Gisarasen, Turpitsen, and Bjornsson's going to come in and try and replace Allmarkson. He's not the greatest yet, but there's certainly potential there. So it's a good chance for him to play. Bjornsson is going to come in and play on the right wing. Dagba Jartsen, who usually has played there for the GAGS, is injured right now. So this guy is going to step up for us and hopefully do a good job. Jofferson on the left. Baltinson, of course, will be the man up top. And a couple of newer names on the bench as well. Arneson, who we've seen before, is one of the stars of the academy. And another one that is just coming in, I think it's the first time we've seen him, is Egil Bartson. He's a little bit of backup, but left-footed winger. If we get a chance to use him, if it's looking comfortable, then we might give Jofferson a rest and bring him on. Okay, so we can see the team sheets there. I don't recognize any. Oh, Djokovic. We had someone by that name. I wonder if that's him. We'll have to check. He might be a former player of ours that came through our academy. All right, what do we say to this? Enjoy the match tonight. Just play your own game. It'll be fine. Yeah. I'm surprised that Mortensen, nothing against him personally, I am surprised he is in the Icelandic team, I've got to say. He's good. I don't know that he's international good, though. But anyway, you know, as I said, it's good to have these players playing for the country, which is, yeah, it's excellent. It is very exciting. Yeah, there's not too much else really to catch you up on. It's just been the one game. Where there's going to be more is if we win this, which we really should. Then there'll be a bit of an extended gap, and I'll sort of play through games and catch you up on how that's gone. But yeah, we did. If you recognize this team, we did. I mean, we've played them before. I think they were in the first division, or the Diet Pepsi League, as I call it, when we were in the Diet Pepsi League. But we also loaned out Jorgensen there last year. Oh, I missed it. I want to see if that Djokovic is the guy we had, because he did play. He has played for our first team. I'm almost positive. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how he goes. We are still bringing players in, through the academy as well, which is good. You'll notice that Ingvason, who has been one of the stars really of the GAGS, he's on the bench, and to be honest, almost on his way out of the club because we just dropped that far down the pecking order. We've got Severson going down the right-hand side there. Can he whip a cross in? It's there for Jofferson. Oh, it's gone in somehow. And Jofferson has himself a goal. So we've got a 1-0 lead, and to be honest, it was a little bit weak, wasn't it? It's one of those I'd like to get a little bit more excited about. I think we did the same thing with Town, didn't we? Where we had, they were WAGs at that point. What was WAGs? Wales Academy Graduates, I think, was what WAGs was. Because I think we added anybody who had come through a Welsh academy, not just the Town Academy. But do we have a goalkeeper by that name as well? Or am I getting... Oh, I think, you know what? I think we had a player at Welders that was by that sort of a similar name anyway. It's a bit of a punt forward. Baltinson's going to get there. Baltinson has the open net. And that's all a little bit too easy for Neil Baltinson, isn't it? Ideally, I would like to give somebody else a game up front. But, I mean, we've got Pedersen, who I might even bring on for the second half. I mean, you'd stop and ask for Baltinson's autograph if you're the goalkeeper in that situation, wouldn't you? But, yeah, ideally I'd like to bring another striker through, but we don't really have one. Pedersen here, I mean, it says he's a striker, he just doesn't have finishing. That's the problem. Now, Djokovic, focus Aussie Villain. It was him. Okay, so he did come through our academy, I think. We didn't sign him, did we? No, he did come through our academy. So it's nice to see a GAG on the opposition team. He's not particularly good, but it's nice to see him anyway. Yeah, ideally, I'd really like to have our academy graduates or just littered through Icelandic football, which maybe we do, but we certainly don't come up against them anywhere near as much as I'd like in the top flight. You do usually get once a season, sort of the top developers of top flight players, and I don't remember having that for a little while, if I'm completely honest. But it would be nice to see again, just to see exactly, where we stand, or what players I should say are still playing in the league. So we don't want to get complacent here. It is only 2-0, and as we all know, that is the most dangerous scoreline in football. We'll leave it for no. I don't. I'm not completely comfortable at 2-0, so we'll leave it for now. Turpin, so has he got a bit of a knock? Maybe we'll take him off and get Arneson on. I don't really want to get an injured player out of this. This is dangerous. Rafferson's there. And that's all fine. Yeah, we are, as I said, we're still producing players, but we are this is probably about 4 or 5 thoughts ago at this point. It is slowing down though. We don't have many sort of the 4.5, 5-star potential players coming through like we used to. So I think Unison, Arneson, I mean, there are a few. We're not struggling, are we? Baltinson with another quality finish. And we've done a hat-trick now. It's difficult to take him off. We'll give him a little bit of time to see if we can get his hat-trick. But yeah, we're not... Because there was a time, wasn't it, where we'd get... I think Rafferson and Baltinson came through the same youth intake. I mean, it's a while ago now, but Turpitson and Ormarkson, I'm pretty sure, came in the same youth intake as well. So we used to really... It doesn't matter if it was offside or not, because it was not given. We used to get sort of 3-4 guys every intake that were, you know, almost... well, you see the team here for the most part. But yeah, I feel like more recently we sort of got... If we're lucky, we get one. And they all tend to be wingers these days as well. So it's a shame we can't sort of level it out a little bit more. But there's not really any coming through at other clubs either. Baltinson, oh, he's hit the post. Warm up, Pedersen. Next goal he gets in, we will take him off. Now, do we want to make another sub here? I can never remember how many subs we get. Goalkeeper, that's easy for him. I wouldn't mind. Jofferson is sort of established at this point. He's almost establishing himself in the first team. So he's very much an established gag. I might take him off and get that youngster on. If we can get another goal. Oh, we're looking for Bjornsson there, but not quite. Because we've already made one sub, haven't we? With Turpitson going off with, I'm assuming, an injury. There's a good ball for Bjornsson. Oh, good defending. And still we pile the pressure on. Steverson. Unison. It's a good ball for Bjornsson again. It's in the middle. Baltinson can't miss. You've got your hat-trick, mate. Go and put your feet up. Pedersen can come on for him. And we'll bring on... where is he here? Dartson for what will be a Grindavik debut. And the other one is Hadartson, who has been with Mortensen the first choice centre-back for the GAGS. But the sort of emergence of Unison has sort of relegated him to third choice. There is an argument to say... If you're not first choice for the GAGs, try and, you know, just maybe move him on. But we could still use him. And he is sort of still in the first team plans as well. I think he's sort of our fifth choice centre back for that. Pedersen. Well, that would have been a bit of a turn up if he whacked that in. Ignore Gunnarsson. This is just a make weight on the bench. He's not really one to worry about. We could use an upgrade at left back. Collar obviously is still around, and he's solid enough, but yeah, he's not really a first team prospect anymore. But there we go, 4-0 away from home against the third tier side. It's pretty much what you would expect us to do, isn't it? Just at a canter. So Grindavik stroll to success. We're in to the fourth round. It's a debut for Bjornsson has played. Or is that the right winger? No, he's played before, hasn't he? He hadn't. Well, there we go. Congratulations to him. Didn't realise that. And but Dartson, we knew it was a first appearance for him. So it's Prota that we'll face in the next round. They are, I believe, a second-tier side. No, they're a third-tier side as well. So it should be another relatively comfortable win for the GAGs. But obviously, we've got to play the game first. Okay, welcome back. Now, there is a lot to catch you up on. We have now had the European season tick over, which means the transfer window in Europe is opened again, and Deanna is upset. He wants to leave. We promised him 4.7 million. He can go, which is fine. We'll replace him for that. But let's have a quick look here. Now, the Champions League was won by Arsenal. 4-1, they beat City in the final. But the league has moved up 3 places to 41st. Now, a quick update of exactly where that makes us in the European grand scheme of things. There we are there. So we've got the Republic of Ireland League, the Slovenian League, the Spanish second division, I think that is, just ahead of us. And we're just ahead of the Austrian second division, Bosnia, Finnish first divisions, and League One. So we are moving up slowly, but there's still a long, long way to go, obviously. Now, as a club, we've risen up 13 places to 41st, which is very nice. Arsenal are now the best team in Europe, so I hope all our affairs are in order because the world is clearly coming to an end. What's the other thing here? Homegrown players. Oh, this is the other thing. Iceland has risen up the coefficient table. So, we now miss the first qualifying round in Europe, which is excellent because that's one game. Well, actually, it's not really that good, is it? Because we've been scoring 9 and 10 goals in the first leg alone. So, we go straight into the second qualifying round. Now, the other good... I mean, I don't know if this is good news or not. So, the Europa Conference League places, instead of coming into the first round, there's now 2 teams coming into the second qualifying round. But the way I look at it is that's a less chance. I mean, it's an easier tie for teams to win. So I don't know that is actually a good thing for us at all. But anyway, it is what it is. We can't change it. Now, we have got our first qualifying opponent for the Champions League. And this is them here, Valmiera. I will be lying if I said I'd never heard of them before. They are a Latvian side. So I would imagine we'll be able to do them quite comfortably. But we'll have to wait and see. And one other thing, while we're on the Champions League that cannot go unspoken. If we go to records, most overall goals by a player in a season, Neil Baltinson, 21. Just bravo. Bravo, a Grindavik player has the highest goals in a season. Yes, that includes a lot of qualifiers, I'm assuming, but even so, absolutely brilliant. Now, in case you don't believe me, there it is right there, 4-1 to Arsenal. I know, I was lucky I was sitting down or else I would have fallen over. Now, there are some games to catch you up on, of course. We've played 4 games now in the league. We do have a few injuries kicking around as well, but I'll catch you up on those when we need to. But anyway, let's start with our catch up of the league, starting with a game against IA. We were behind at half-time. Albert Jonsson picked out Iskala's run to pull us level. And Jonsson then found Gadini to put us in front. Before Higuain found Jonsson to seal the points. So we were in a little bit of trouble in this one, and then a tactical tweak, genius by myself. It wasn't that genius, it was a desperate move. We moved Bakali forward, actually I think we took Diana off, we put Jonsson on, and he changed the game, didn't he? So, yeah, maybe it was Jonsson that changed the game more so than me. But yeah, very, very nicely done. Ingsley Baltinson was having a nightmare. You would have noticed Gadini got a goal. We had to take him off for Gadini. So ultimately, we got the win, but it wasn't our greatest performance in all truth. Next up, it was Grotta, the Kit Clash Derby. Iskala and Gadini combined to give us the lead. And the same two toyed with the defence again for our second. Before the Iskala and Gadini show got a third in the second half. So yeah, Gadini and Iskala were just different class in this one. Dominated the game, did everything we did was good, came from them basically. And not just them, that's harsh on everybody else. But yeah, it was a very, very satisfying performance, that's for sure. Next up, it was Fram. We went 1-0 down in the first half when Hafel Darson forgot he was a goalkeeper. Jonsson found Rojas to pull us level. Before Diana found the ball at his feet to give us the lead. So we did just about edge the game, but we certainly made hard work of it. Now, this was during an international break. I think most of these games were during an international break, and we were sort of playing 3 times a week as well. So this was a little bit more of a rotated side, including Hafel Darson in goal, just to make sure Rapperson didn't get tired and get an injury through tiredness, things like that. He forgot he was playing goalkeeper, apparently, so that was disappointing. But ultimately, we did what we needed to do and got the 3 points. And the last game was against KR. Gisarasen found Nelum to give us the lead. And the same two combined again to make it 2-0. So we did enough to win this one. We gave Nelum a game up front since he was the bookies' favourite to be top goal scorer in the league before the season started. He did well, scored 2. He's actually injured now. He's out for a couple of weeks with an injury. But yeah, our XG was 2. We scored 2, so happy days there. Now, the league table, as you would imagine, is looking very, very comfortable indeed. We have played a game more than poor, but they are still... Well, how many points is that behind us? They haven't lost yet either, to be fair to them. So they're putting up a decent fight, but even if they win, they go to 17. So what's that? 4 points they are behind us. So, I mean, it's not completely done and dusted, but we haven't dropped a point yet. So you'd like to think that that will be able to continue. So, on we go to the Cup. And Prota, And it's going to be difficult, this one. It's a 4-2-3-1. Now, this is, of course, where we fell out last season. And if I remember correctly, some of that was because we had an international break. And I think we may have had some injuries at the time as well. But not much has changed here. Severson is out injured, which is a big loss. So we are really struggling for a right back. And Ormarkson is still out as well. And then we've got away on international duty, Boutenson and Hansi Mortensen. So we are very, very light coming into it. So Rafferson goes in goal. Koller, Unnesen, Hadartsen, and Magnusson will be playing his first game for us. He is not, and I repeat, he is not a fullback. He's not quick. He can't dribble. He can't cross. He can't even tackle. But he can play off either foot, and it says he can play right back, so he's going to do it. It's going to be Arnesen, Turpensen, and Bjornsson in midfield. Bjornsson, another Bjornsson, is going to be on the right. Jofferson on the left, and Pedersen, as I just said, it was last game, wasn't it? Not a finisher, but he is our only real striker that we have right now. So he's going to play up front, and if he doesn't score, we don't have another striker to bring on. So I just really hope he scores. Alright, so here we go with the team sheets. Do we recognise anybody there? I don't think so. What are we going to say to this? It's one of these we really should win. I think if we just stick to the game plan, we'll be fine. What I don't want to do is put too much pressure on them. Because, I mean, it is a third-tier side, so we should be able to win no matter who plays. You know, at the end of the day, they are still Grindavik players, and they need to be performing, don't they, if they have any ambitions of playing long-term for the team. But yeah, well, we'll wait and see here what happens. I am going to have to change marking assignments because they've come out a little bit differently to what we were expecting. It is away from home as well. We just, I think if we can go in front, I think we'll be okay. But yeah, we do need to go in front, I think. But yeah, we'll see what we can do here. They're sort of going with a real bus park with the three up front, so it's not going to be the easiest for us to play against. I'm hoping, you know, Rafferson and Turpensen are going to need to be important players for us here. Turpensen is a team leader. Rafferson, as we know, is absolute class. So if they play well, then I think the team might play well. Arnesen and Bjornsson are very high potential. I mean, Pedersen's very high potential as well. But he's just, I don't think he's a striker, which is a problem because he does. Right back is obviously a problem. I think, the thing is, I think Magnusson might be solid enough. Pedersen is almost done brilliantly, but Bjornsson could be in here. Bjornsson dribbles and his shot is blocked. And it's easy for the goalkeeper in the end. But yeah, I mean, even the likes of Gisser Rassen, there's a few. I mean, this is a new name on the bench as well. I'll just quickly show you. He's someone that I found in the kids. Didn't really know we had him, to be honest. One thing that does happen, though, is when they do come in, they may not look great from the youth intake, but a lot of players do end up becoming decent players just through training with us. So that obviously helps. Magnusson floats across in. It's towards goal. Could be there for Pedersen. Not a bad finisher there. And he's got himself a goal. So well done. We go 1-0 up. And, well, Pedersen did do a decent job from a narrow angle, didn't he? It wasn't a great cross. It just kind of floated in, but it did enough. The goalkeeper's got to do better. And, yeah, Pedersen shows me that he is a striker. And good for him. Always love being proved wrong by one of my players. Turbertson over a free kick. It's floated in, and again, it's over the bar. Unnesen this time. Now, he is a little bit tired from international duty. Yeah, that's what I was saying, is that a lot of the younger players, I mean, it's an international break. Obviously, they're not playing for the senior team, but they are playing for, like, the Icelandic youth teams. So, and I think youth teams tend to play more games too, don't they? So I think they actually come back tighter than they would do if they were senior internationals, a lot of them. And our players tend to be the better players in those youth teams as well. Pedersen's in again, and Pedersen has scored again. In off the crossbar as well, which always looks better, doesn't it? I missed who it was that played him through, but it was a very nice ball as well. Unnesen gets it wide there for Koller. Koller for Jofferson, and Jofferson has played him in. Really, really nicely done. And look at that. Excellent finish. Excellent finish. A shot off the crossbar, goes off the crossbar and down, always looks better, doesn't it? It just does. I still think probably my favourite goal of all time is the Tim Cahill volley in the Brazil World Cup, where it just got crossed in. I think, who was it? It was one of the McGowan brothers, I think, that crossed it in. And it was just brilliant. The volley off the crossbar, brilliant. It is definitely my favourite goal of all time. All right, what do you want to say to this? Don't get complacent, please, boys. It's comfortable right now, but that can change very quickly. Is there anybody on the bench we want to give game time to? I wouldn't mind switching the wingers up, actually. To give Bedartsen some more game time, because he looks like he might be something. And Dag Bejartsen is just coming back from injury, so it would be worth giving him a little bit of game time as well, just to help his match fitness levels. I mean, someone like Bedartsen, for example, he probably won't play for us, but if we can get him up to as high a standard as we can, and then he can go off somewhere else in the league, that is ultimately what the point of playing the GAGS in this is just to try and force me to develop players that can then go off and play elsewhere. Obviously, we want to win the cups, and that's why someone like Bouterton and Rapperson plays. There's a good ball, and Pedersen has a hat-trick! Well, well, well. If he was to play in the third tier, he'd be absolutely deadly, wouldn't he? Still don't know that he's going to make it with us as a striker, but he's found his level. He's a very good third-tier player. And Turpinson did really... The movement from Pedersen was really good. Actually, to be fair to Pedersen, I'll show you his attributes again here in a minute, I should say. It's not the rest of his game that is hopeless. He's got decent off the ball movement, decent vision and passing technique. The thing is just finishing. He's just not a finisher. But the rest of his game, it's not completely useless. Now, do we want to make a sub here? It's telling me to bring this guy on to play centre back. I mean, we can try it. All right, I did want to make changes though, didn't I? So let's get Dag Bejartsen on. Let's take Jofferson off because he's a little bit tired. And everybody else there is a little bit tired themselves. So maybe I will just save a sub in case we happen to need it. But at 3-0, it should be quite comfortable. We've not really ever got out of first gear here, have we? But we've brushed aside 2 third-tier sides. I suspect the next round is going to be a little bit more difficult for us. Magnuson played a 7.4 at right back as well. So players prove me wrong all over the place. But in truth, maybe not the biggest test for them. So we win in the 4th round. Magnuson impresses on debut. And do we have the draw for the next round yet? It doesn't look like we do. Pedersen putting my foot firmly in my mouth. Well done to you, sir. And that will do it for today. We will be back next time for the quarterfinal, and then I'd say the first leg of this tie. That seems like a good place to come back, doesn't it? So if you've enjoyed that, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, I will see you next time as European football begins already. It comes around so quick, doesn't it? And then the GAGS quarterfinal. Can they go further? Let's hope so. Take care.